Next page. Question says, determine the slope and y-intercept of the following graph. Well, here we have this graph here. First, we need to write it in the standard form, y equals to mx plus b. Okay, take a look at this. You have x and y's on one side. Isolate y. How? What you can do, you can bring 10y to the other side and bring 5 to the left-hand side, or you can just bring x to the other side and then divide by -10. So -10y becomes minus x plus 5. Now divide by -10, you get y equals to -x divided by -10 plus 5 divided by -10. So y becomes negative divided by negative gives you positive. 1/10 x. Here you have a negative number because you only have one negative sign. 5 divided by 10 is a half, minus 1/2. So as you can see, your m is 1/10, which is your slope, and your y-intercept, which is just a constant, is -1/2. 10 and 1/10 and -1/2 is your answer here. So this is the slope. 1/10 and 0 and -1/2. Question 16 says, determine which two equations have graphs that are perpendicular. When they are perpendicular to each other, it means that if you multiply their slopes, it is equal to -1. So we need to find the slope of these two lines and check to see if their product is -1 or not. The slope of the first line is 3. M1 is 3. M2 is also 3. If you multiply it, it is 9, not -1. So this is not the answer. The slope of the first line is 3. The slope of the second line is 1/3. If you multiply these two, the outcome is +1, not -1. The slope of this line is 3. The slope of the second line is -3. 3 times -3 is -9, not -1. The slope of this line is 3. The slope of this line is -1/3. If you multiply them, 3 and 3 cancel out, you're left with -1. So D is the correct answer. Question 17. Determine the equation of the line passing through this point and parallel to this line. When you say they are parallel to each other, it means that they have the same slope. Same slope. So since you have the slope, you have one point on the line, you can use point slope formula and find the equation of the line. Y minus, this is your x sub 0, this is your y sub 0, just plug those in for the numbers. You get y minus -4 equals to m, which is 2, x minus -4. So y plus 4 becomes 2 multiplied by x plus 4. Distribute 2 into parentheses. Y plus 4 becomes 2x plus 8. Now bring this constant to the other side. Remember that here you have the standard form. You are interested in writing the equation this way. Y becomes 2x plus 8 minus 4, which is plus 4. 2x plus 4 is our answer here. Question 18. Determine the equation of the line passing through x sub 0, y sub 0, that is perpendicular to this graph. Perpendicular to this graph, it means that the slope is negative reciprocal. That's the meaning of that, negative reciprocal. So what's the slope of this line? This line is y equals to 2x minus 3 and slope is 2. So plug that in here, you get negative a half. This is the slope of this line. Again, since you have 1 point and the slope, use slope point formula and then simplify it. We get y minus 7 equals to negative a half x minus 7. Distribute negative a half into parentheses and then, or just multiply everything by 2 and simplify it later. We get 2y minus 14 equals to negative x plus 7. So 2y plus x is equal to 14 plus 7, which is 21. Question 19. Question 19 says, suppose you have two functions. F of x is defined this way. G of x is defined x squared minus 16. Question says, find the difference between these two functions at 0. It's not multiplication. It is f of 0 minus g of 0. F of 0, just simple substitution. We get 0 squared plus 0 minus 3, which is negative 3. And g of 0 is 0 squared minus 16, which is negative 16. So f of 0 minus g of 0 is negative 3 minus 16, or negative 3 plus 16, or just 13. Question 20. Question 20 says, evaluate f divided by g at negative 4. This defines as f of negative 4 divided by g of negative 4. So we need to calculate f of negative 4. F at minus 4 is negative 4 squared plus negative 4 minus 3. Negative 4 squared is positive 16. And here you have negative 4 minus 3, which is equal to, here we have 9. And g of negative 4 becomes, here we have negative 4 squared minus 16, which is 16 minus 16, or 0. So you have 9 over 0, which is undefined. If you have 0 on the denominator, it is undefined. Very well. This question says, find the domain of the composition of two functions. The composition of two functions is nothing but substitution. This is equal to f at g of x. So wherever we see x, we're going to just use g of x. This becomes x cubed, but it is x cubed minus 1. X cubed minus 1 to the third plus 2 times x cubed minus 1 to the second minus 1. So as you can see, you have a polynomial. When you have a polynomial, the domain is always R. What about the domain of f divided by g? F of x divided by g of x. Remember that if you have 0 on the denominator, it's undefined. So we're going to avoid zeros on the denominator. Avoid zeros of g of x. But how do you find the zeros of g of x? If you take a look at Desmos and graph x cubed minus 1, you see it has one intersection with x-axis at 1. So 1 is the zero of g of x, which needs to be avoided. The domain is R except for 1.